Well, let's kick off the show. If we're getting into the American groove, let's just see what happens here. This is the sixth generation. I'll tell you a bit more about them later.
But I didn't die before I got old. I look in the mirror, see my father staring back. The 60s have long faded and I'm further down the track. In my 60s and my bones begun to crack, but in my head the memories keep on flooding back. Love your life, change what you can, accept the rest, and live it to the end. So you better love the life you have. Glad I didn't die before I got old. Glad I didn't die before I got old. Music always moves me, the beat is where it's at. I swivel my hips and do the twist, it really takes me back. Watching in black and white was good as it could get. From the Beatles to the Stones, one thing is clear to me here. From kid to dead, I'm on my own. Am I ready for this? Life won't slow down. You better love the life you have. Glad I didn't die before I got old. Glad I didn't die before I got old. Before I got old. Dating, marriage, having kids, been through this door before. The children of my children, I am pop forevermore. My hair is salt and pepper, but my footprints in the sand. Making music with my brothers, the sixth generation band. Love your life, change what you can, accept the rest, and live it to the end. You better love the life you have. Glad I didn't die before I got old. Glad I didn't die before I got old. Glad I didn't die before I got old. Glad you didn't die before you got old. Glad we didn't die before we got old. Glad I didn't die before I got old. So you better love the life you have. Yes, you better love the life you have. Now you better love the life you have. While you're still above the ground.
The sixth generation from Michigan and Virginia, respectively. These guys came over to the UK in 5 years ago. Goodness me, was that what it was? I know Dave's listening over there. It is staggering, isn't it? 2013, and you came down, and you had a little tour of the Lancashire, our Lancashire sites here, and saw one or two things, didn't you, when you came? The important thing about the track that I've just played, Glad I Didn't Die Before I Got Old, penned by the band, and Dave Willinger gets a credit, does Ron Hamrick, Paul Davis, Fred Backerman, and Fred Holtz all got a credit on that. And that kind of leads me into something that's happening later with Dave Linger, or Big D, is bringing in later, and he's going to kind of have a little chat about things that are happening to him. And I'm so delighted to hear that he's got a brand new track laid down and that he's had a lot of involvement with. I think he's 50-50 joint penned this particular track. So we're looking forward to hearing it later. And it is supposedly a world exclusive, but I think a radio station in California, you might know, California, is it in California? Blitz FM might have beaten us to it this morning. Anyway, whatever, we've got the track here, and we're going to play it, and I'm sure you're going to be delighted with it. Incidentally, this isn't the track, but this is Eddie.
My head on the pillow, I can still taste the perfume that you wore, but I know that you won't be coming back to me. But in my dreams I can hold you evermore. But have you ever sailed down the river of dreams and turned away from this old troubled world? When the darkness creeps upon you, daylight fades away, the memories of you come back again. I can still see your face before me. I can still see that warm and friendly smile. But I know that you won't be coming back to me. But in my dreams I can hold you evermore. But have you ever sailed down the river of dreams and turned away from this old troubled world? When the darkness creeps upon you and the daylight fades away, the memories of you come back again. And the memories of you come back again.
Across the wards of Wrightington and Wigan hospitals, playing the best of yesterday, this is Wrightington Hospital Radio.
Hospital Radio, just the tonic.
My fix of serotonin, there's nothing gonna stop me getting there. From Dakota to Nebraska, where my pals eat Lake Alaska, well, there's nothing gonna stop me being there. White dogs at midnight, white rabbits in daylight, red river in sunlight, blue moon in twilight. Arizona with my my gal from Oklahoma, and there's nothing gonna stop me leaving now. Just you wait until tomorrow when her mother says she'll follow. Yeah, there's nothing gonna stop me leaving now. Black dogs at midnight, white rabbits in daylight, red river in sunlight, blue moon in twilight. I'm rolling now. I'm rolling now. And I can see right now how it feels. Yeah, I'm leaving Arizona with my gal from Oklahoma, and there's nothing gonna stop me leaving now. Just you wait until tomorrow when her mother says she'll follow. Yeah, there's nothing gonna stop me leaving now. Black dogs at midnight, white rabbits at daylight, red river in sunlight, blue moon in twilight. Heavy snow in Colorado meant her mother couldn't follow. Yeah, there's nothing gonna stop me rolling on. Over mountain trails and hollows, there's no road I wouldn't follow. Yeah, there's nothing gonna stop me rolling on. There's nothing gonna stop me rolling on. It's a rock and rolling on.
Well, that's my first penned ever song that I wrote in let me see, what was it? I'm just trying to think. It was just, I got a present for my 60th birthday, and it was a nice thing to do. It was a present of paying. He paid for to go in the studio for the day. And the deal was that Jack Carney, who bought the Christmas present for my 60th birthday, the deal was that we went in the studio, we wrote one song, and we produced it and delivered it and mastered it and did everything you need and the finished product in one day. That was the deal. And we did it, and that's the result of it. So one hopes you've enjoyed it. Again, I'm Bill Hart. I'm on the Lanky Beat live show, and we're looking forward to David Willinger ringing in a few minutes' time. He's not rung in yet, and I've got to patch him in and get him all that technicality done, and we're going to deal with that as soon as we can. But meanwhile, Chris Rimmer is not well, and he's in one of the Liverpool hospitals, and he's having more things done next Monday that'll get him right, and we wish him all the best down there, Chris, because Chris comes down to Lanky Cats with his band Just Us, and he's recently retired from that band, but he is looking for more work on the singing front. He's a good frontman, singer, crooner, and all that. So this is one of his favourite artists of all time, and he's done a cover of it, of course. And what it is, that he's decided that he will produce a CD of all his favourite songs on by Cliff Richard. I trip over my tongue as I'm saying it, but let's see what happens here.
Fall in love, fall in love, fall in love with you. Fall in love, fall in love, fall in love with you. Falling in love again, falling in love again. Why couldn't I, why shouldn't I fall in love with you? Why must you lock your heart and keep us two apart? Why couldn't I, why shouldn't I fall in love with you? Don't tell me, 'cause I know it's late. Our day is almost over. It's time to go. Oh, please give me one more chance. This is our first romance. Why couldn't I, why shouldn't I fall in love with you? Fall in love, fall in love, fall in love with you. Don't tell me, I know it's late and our day is almost over. It's time to go. Oh, please give me just one more chance. This is our first romance. Why couldn't I, why shouldn't I fall in love with you? Fall in love, fall in love, fall in love with you. Fall in love, fall in love, fall in love with you.
Chris, get well soon. That's all I can say to you, my friend. And we'll look forward to seeing you pretty soon up and running. No problem at all. Now then, I think I've got Dave Willinger on the line. Have I got you, Dave?
Cheers, Bill. How are things in England tonight?
Fantastic. I've managed to get us talking to each other on the patch-up thing that I have in front of me. So, well, David Willinger, Big D. Fantastic to talk to my friend and brother, David Willinger.
Absolutely, Bill. We've been friends for since probably 2014 or 2013. Met in 2015.
Yeah, we have. Just let people know how do things like transatlantic friendships start. I know there's many different ways, but how did mine and yours start?
I was promoting the band, the Sixth Generation, and with some music that we had out, and I was looking in England because the British invasion has always been so dear to my heart, and there it is. It's Lanky Beat and Lanky Land, and I ended up. You and I ended up corresponding, liking each other on Facebook.
That's right. Yeah.
Really becoming friends prior to ever having the tour booked in 2013. And then I had the privilege of you and Ron putting the tour together in 2013, and we had a fantastic 10 days in your area.
Yeah, and what was the main reason for you to doing that tour?
It was for two reasons. The main reason would be to play at the Cavern Club.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, that was. I mean, there were other reasons, but playing at the Cavern was top. And then, who knew that Latham Hall would actually be like 1.1 on that scale? Never figured that there was any other place, but then Latham Hall, and you were there that night, I think, weren't you?
I certainly came down, and for most people who are not kind of familiar with Latham Hall, it is the venue that is used by Mersey Rats, who is a brother-sister, if you like, of Lanky Cats. And you guys came and dip your toe in the water, as it were, at Lanky Cats, and got yourselves kind of in the groove. You were straight off the plane, and I think was a lot of jet lag around and a lot of nervousness around, and the build-up. We needed a build-up, didn't we, to get you in the groove, as it were, for the Cavern Club performance. That was the main thing. So we started you off at Lanky Cats, and then we did various other little gigs for you. And but one of your highlights, was of course the Latham Hall. And anybody who hasn't been to Latham Hall, it's in Seaforth near Liverpool, right by the docks. Don't get put off because it's near the docks. It's an amazing old place. And of course, the Beatles have played there a few times before they became famous, of course. It was one of the Beatles venues. In fact, Pete Best played in that particular club with the Beatles at the time. So,
matter of fact, I think Pete Best lives in that area and comes by frequently.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, just two quick stories. One, when you walk in the door, walk up to the top bar area that's at the far end.
Yeah.
That's where the stage used to be.
It is.
And if you stand right at the bar, your feet will be on the same boards that the Beatles and Stones and the Zombies and everybody who was everybody stood right at that spot.
It's relatively unknown. It's outside Liverpool, I'm trying to say. It's relatively unknown. And if you go in there, you will just be astonished. Dave, that's the only word I can describe about the place. Has been decked out with all manner of memorabilia from the 60s, but the guy who runs it has not stopped there, has he? He's got he's got a replica car that James Bond used in one of the films, the one that flew over the ravine, over the river.
Absolutely.
He's got that in there now. He's got it in there.
Yeah, he's got. I never made it upstairs, but I guess he's got a whole museum.
Yeah.
But I will never forget the crowd. We hit it that night. We were on.
You did.
And
you did.
And but standing backstage, there was an old guy came up to me with his little shaky finger, and he looked me in the eye. And I'm not young. He looked me in the eye, and he goes, "Did you ever hear about the time that John Lennon almost punched me in the nose?" Well, you know what? That's a story I want to hear the rest of. And it was just delightful. We hated to leave the green room because of all the stories from all the fellows that were gathered around that were our founding fathers of rock and roll.
Yeah, it was an astonishing night, and I'm so pleased that you kind of enjoyed the little tour that I put together with Ron for you.
Oh, it certainly did, Bill. It was amazing, and again, our friendship came from it. I think we had you out to the house, and you were there at each one of the shows. And now, that the generation is not playing, we're not in our next 40-year hiatus. It's nice that we can still share music and share my new song.
Yep. Well, am I wanting to know all about this new song? Because the first I heard of it, there was a little thing came through, a message came through that David Wallinger, although the band has finished now, the sixth generation has retired, some of the guys are still doing some little bits on their own, particularly Ron. I know he's doing live solo work, isn't he?
Ron is doing live solo work, and he does a lot of writing.
Yeah, a lot of writing, exactly.
And Fred Bachman. Fred Bachman was a part of the band.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you and he have got a couple of songs out.
That's
that are
right.
Fantastic.
That's right.
And so he's still performing. I'll see him Monday, matter of fact. I'll tell him you said hi.
Oh, say hi to Fred for me. Yeah, we collaborated with Fred on 3 songs so far, and there's more to come between us.
Fantastic.
These amazing things happening, isn't it? Astonishing things that are going on. But I think what I want you to do now, we've got your new single lined up here.
Okay.
Shall I play it first, or do you want to talk in what it's all about, or talk in later afterwards? How would you like to do it, Dave?
Let me just say this, that this song is called Old Dogs and New Tricks.
Yeah.
And if any of you out there wonder whether you're an old dog or not, you're probably not. Us old dogs, we know we're old dogs.
Here we go, Dave.
All righty.
Living in the 60s, some 50 years ago, at the Spinning Record Shop, listening to Beatles and Stones. That was then, this is now. We were young dogs, learning new tricks. Now I'm 400 dog years, no longer nipple apart. Pups are all gone, I still love to ride. Rhythm is the best way to reach your soul. We're old dogs, new tricks. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. There's something in the groove that makes you want to move your feet. Music puts a lifetime smile below your nose. The tried and true will put the tap back to your toes. Old dogs, old dogs. Old dogs. Old dogs. They say you can't teach an old dog new trick. There's power in the funk that makes you want to scratch your itch. Dance like no one's watching to the rock and roll. The music will soothe your body and your soul. So gather round the doghouse when day is done. Music takes your cares away until morning sun. Time has passed, embrace your life. We're old dogs, new tricks. Old dogs, new tricks. It's not the dog's age, it's in his rocking soul. Sleeping in the shade, don't chase cows no more. Rhythm and the beat will keep your life on track. Music is a gift that keeps on giving back. We were old dogs, new tricks, new tricks. Old dogs, we were old dogs, new tricks, new tricks. Old dogs, new tricks. We are old dogs with new tricks.
Are you still with us, Dave?
I am. Thank you, Bill.
A pleasure, absolute pleasure, Dave. So, okay, what are you going to say about your new track?
Well, Old Dogs. it's really written. When I was over on the tour with you guys, one of the things that really moved me was how much the people in Lanky Land love their music, and there's these just sweet little pockets of people that really know what they're doing, and then you've got bands like the Sabres. Help me.
Yep.
And we shared a stage with them a couple of times. These guys are really good. And the was it Top Cats?
Yep.
They were really good.
The Top Spots. Yep.
Top Spots. There we go.
Top Spots. Yeah, a very old, famous Liverpool band, the Top Spots. Yep.
Yeah, they were excellent. I think their bass player had a violin bass like General uses.
Yep.
So the inspiration was those of us that are a little gray of hair, that still like to rock and roll no matter what our age.
Yeah.
And that is my pups are all gone, but I still love to rock. That kind of sums it up.
It is.
And so that was the inspiration was, you know what you write. Back in the day, we wrote, "I want to hold your hand."
Yep.
But now 50 years later, if I did that, my wife would hit me. So it's looking back on life and seeing what music part has played in our life.
Yep.
And the fact that we can still tap our toe, and hopefully that song put a tap to your toe and a smile to your face.
Well, it's certainly refreshing. I said that to you before when we spoke off air. I said it's so refreshing, that song. You've got that uppity beat with it, and certainly the lyrics will appeal to my age, and I've got two guys at the side of me who it'll appeal to them as well. I think you know who they are, but I'll tell you what, we're going to leave it for a while before we bring them in.
Okay.
We're going to go up to 8:00, and then I'd love you to ring back in. And I know you're dying to speak to them. And we can do that. But before you go, Dave, just temporarily for 3/4 of an hour or so, and then ring back about 8:15. Tell us about, you hit number 2 in the Billboard charts with one of your records.
It's one of those things you go in our life at our age. We got the band back together after a 40-year hiatus, and the band came back with unfinished business. We buckled down to terms, even though it was, we were in our mid-60s. We said, we're going to be really serious about this. And the fact that we were inducted into the Michigan Hall of Fame, which would be like the, your area Hall of Fame for music, was incredible. The fact that we even got into a recording studio, we came over to England. But probably the thing that I still smile about is Billboard is a magazine that charts where records are.
Yeah.
And so if you ever make it onto a Billboard chart, that's a big deal. So all of our life never made it on Billboard. So here we chart on Billboard. We hit number 1 or hit number 2. We're there for 12 weeks, I think it is. And the song that kept us out of number 1, the re-release of Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones.
You can't believe that, can you?
No, on my wall sits the Rolling Stones and Satisfaction, and number 2, Living in a Small Town by the Sixth Generation. I will never forget the feeling when I saw that the first time.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine what that must be like. What I'd give to have actually done something like that. And these two guys at the side of me have actually done it a few times between them. Oh, well, you can't get your head around that, can you? I mean,
I am, guys. I'm looking forward to calling back in about 45 minutes and giving a good chat. But Bill, listen, I'm going to give way to your special guest.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. We'll be talking again. I'll be with Diana on Sunday night.
Oh, yeah. Tell us about that before you go.
I'm going to be with Diana on Sunday night.
I mean, she's broadcasting on so many stations now. It's difficult to keep track. What station is she broadcasting on?
I don't have a clue. Just call her at 10. So I call her about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I really... Bill, I don't have. I'm so sorry. I don't know.
No, don't worry about it because she's confusing us all at the moment with the number of. I think there's up to about 6 stations she's networking with across the UK. And good on her too, because certainly she's playing vinyl all the time now, isn't she?
Wow.
She just plays the old vinyl stuff, and it's very, very popular, as you know, right now, because you can buy vinyl in the shops all of a sudden again.
Yes. Well, but she happens to like me for some reason. I must be like that stray old dog that you gotta love and give them a scratch behind the ear periodically. She likes me, Bill, and so I'm going to be on her show, and then I've got some things to do here in America, but I just can't thank you enough for having me on your show. And again, if you'll have me back, I'll call you back in a month or so.
Yeah.
After I call you back in 45 minutes.
Okay. Okay, Dave. Thanks very much for your short session that we've had here. Thank you very much for your new track. I think it's wonderful, and I'll talk to you in a few minutes' time with my guests. Okay, Dave. See you later.
Cheers.
Hospital Radio, the best company.
Across the wards of Wrightington and Wigan hospitals, playing the best of yesterday. This is Wrightington Hospital Radio.
This is Andrea Cook. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not I'm just listening to these guys and blowing me away with what they're saying about things. And but we'll let you into this secret a little bit later of what we're talking about. We've got a guy who's just had a little operation here in the hospital at Wrightington Hospital. I'm tying myself up in knots and twisting myself around with words, but he's kind of had an operation on Monday, and his name is Alan Gilligan, and I'm delighted to say he's a personal pal of mine, and he's a lanky cat as well. And I hope your knee goes very well, Alan. And I know it's the second one, so you're used to it in a kind of way. Painful job. I've had mine done just over a year ago, and it's a painful job. There's no question about it. There's no getting away from it. You have to exercise. Otherwise, you've got to get yourself moving and all that. That's my advice to anybody who's going to have it done. Mine is brilliant. I can't thank the doctors, nurses at Ormskirk Hospital for doing a wonderful job, and I'm absolutely a new lease of life. I can walk around now. Oh, hey! Anyway, back to Alan Gilligan, and his lovely wife, Julie. We have got here for you one of the Blue Notes. Alan's a rhythm guitarist in the Blue Notes, and he's been playing at Lanky Cats now for the length of time we've been doing Lanky Cats, and it's a pleasure to have the Blue Notes play for us now and again, and because they're semi-retired, and so it's delightful to hear them. So have a kind of a listen to this and see what you think. It's not working for me. I don't know why, and